Well, we shall begin the first lesson on the history of coffee. The origins of the coffee plant and the fruit are not certain. It is not known if it had already been discovered by the time of Homer or Muhammad. But one thing is for sure, is the first plants bloomed in an African region, Abyssinia, currently called Ethiopia. The legend goes that the discovery was made by a shepherd of the name Kaldi, who, by chance, noticed that his sheep became euphoric after eating strange red berries. Putting the legend to one side, what is certain is that the plant was discovered for the first time in the region of Kaffa, in Abyssinia, where many believe the name coffee derived. In reality, this is a mistake, as the word coffee derived from the Arabic word kaffe, that signifies vegetable beverage, and it was precisely the Arabs that used the coffee first. In its beginnings, green coffee powder was kneaded together with animal fats to produce a substance that became an excellent psychological fuel for long journeys through the desert. Around the 13th, 14th century, coffee was no longer used by the Arabs as a raw fruit, but instead toasted. The beverage stated itself very quickly, in substitution for alcoholic drinks like, for example, wine, which was prohibited in the Islamic religion. Precisely for this reason, coffee started to become known as the Arabic wine during this period. In the 17th century, the beverage arrived in Europe. Coffee's success in Vienna was due to a Turkish defeat against the Austrian army at the gates of Vienna. Some historical documents reveal that during the withdrawal of troops, an unknown number of sacks of coffee were left behind and found by a Polish man, Kolczynski. Once the raw coffee had been roasted, Kolczynski began distributing the beverage in specific places, which within time came known as coffee bars. Coffee shops began to pop up in all of the major European cities, such as Paris, Marseille, and Venice. It was exactly the Venetians who marketed coffee and opened the most important coffee bars like Café Florian in Venice, that owes its name to its owner Floriano Francesconi, and the coffee bar Piedrochi in Padova. Well-educated scientists and politicians gathered in the coffee bars and quickly became infected with the coffee phenomenon. A few poets, artists and politicians of that time exalted the characteristics of coffee in their work.
Caffè in Arabia nato e dalle carovane in Ispan portato. L'arabo certamente sempre è il caffè migliore, mentre spunta da un lato, mette dall'altro il fiore. Nasce in pingue terreno, vuol ombra o poco sole. Piantare ogni 3 anni l'arboscel si suole. Il frutto non è vero che esser debba piccino, anzi deve essere grosso, basta sia verdolino. Usarlo indi conviene di fresco macinato. Il luogo caldo e asciutto con gelosia guardato. A farlo vi vuol poco, mettervi la sua dose e non versarla al fuoco. Far sollevar la spuma, poi abbassarla un tratto. 6, 7 volte almeno, il caffè presto è fatto.
Not only did poets and writers speak of coffee, but also so did politicians and artists of that period. Apparently, Napoleon was fond of repeating the words, "A good coffee in abundance wakes my spirit, gives me energy, an exceptional vigor, and a determined will to work on." Instead, Charles Maurice de Talleyrand stated that coffee should be as hot as hell, as black as the devil, as pure as an angel, and as sweet as love. It is also said that Beethoven was fond of a strong coffee made with 60 beans that he had personally counted himself. We shall conclude the lesson on the history of coffee on this note. I would like to remind you that by clicking on your right, you can open a test that sums up the arguments discussed in this lesson by answering relevant questions. Goodbye everyone, and have a coffee on me.